Welcome, friends. I am really excited and delighted today because I have a very profound point that I want to share with you today is how to present a best answer for a cue card. And the thing that I'm going to share with you is tell a story and make a point. Like in a cue card, create a story, create an experience, whatever you want to share in your cue card, just create a story for that. Suppose the cue card is speak about an interesting conversation, so you can create a story on this cue card once upon a time, I was traveling in a bus and I was going to Chandigarh or I was going to Delhi or wherever you live. And at that time, I was having a co passenger at my seat, and we both started talking, and gradually we became friends like that. So because what happens when you share a story and make the point, it looks natural. You can use your own happenings, your own experiences, and there is no need to cram anything. So what my point is, but the larger point is create a story and make a point, especially in the cue cards, because in cue cards you have the opportunity to speak at least for 2 minutes. And because in last 1.5 year I have given IELTS exam 3 times, means thrice, and once I got 7 bands, once I got 7.5, and once I got 8 bands, and every time I used a common method, I shared a story. The moment I got 8 bands, my cue card was speak about a day out that went cheaper. On that day, I made a story that was a real story of my life, and I just told it. And the positive point of that story is that happened to me naturally. So I was quite confident about that. I did not cram it, and it was quite integral or intrinsic part of my life. And second time when I got 7 bands, the cue card was describe something that you that describe something that you own and you want to replace it in future. So I made again a real story that happened to me, and recently I got 7.5 in IELTS reading, IELTS speaking. So that time the cue card was describe something when you shown something to a youngster, means when you taught something about doing something to a younger person. And again I told a natural story. So what my point is, go for naturality, go for creating stories. And the moment you create stories, almost you get the confidence about creating a story about anything, creating a story about a person, creating a story about an experience, creating a story about a product. So obviously you get the advantage. Let me share with you how you can create stories. Like if it is a story of past, you can start once upon a time it happened to me, or once upon a time I was doing this, or I was traveling there, I was talking to somebody. So you can start a story. Obviously stories are mostly related to past experiences or something that has recently happened to you. So what I am trying to tell you is, for cue cards, it's a tried and tested method to score 7 plus, because my aim is to help you building your skills. And this is the reason why I am going to come regularly on YouTube or going to take live classes. However, this is not a live class, this is a pre-recorded session. So but for regularly I am coming to you. Why? Because I want to build some skills in you, and I want to remove your mindset of IELTS as an exam. Just look IELTS as an opportunity, as a golden platform to make you a more expressive, communicative person, a more fulfilled and more creative, more enthusiastic person who is keen to express his thoughts. So that is very important when you share a story. And from today itself you can start making some stories, stories about your school life, stories about your college life, stories about your hobbies, stories about your future, stories about your obsessions, your possessions, your dreams, what you want to future, what do you want to do in future, your ambitions, aspirations. So just create stories of that kind. And I have noticed in my life, because being a professional speaker, I am being invited at schools, colleges, corporations to give a talk or share something of meaning. So every time I do one thing, which is a common thread of all my presentations, is sharing stories. You can share a story, and that is very interesting because for the 2 minutes of your cue card duration, if you share a story and make the point, examiner is also naturally going to extract something of value from your story, and he is going to be inclined with your point. So instead of telling a very straightforward kind of lines, this, no, just make a story, use your face expressions and use your voice, ups and downs, and you will also enjoy in the process. So what I want to tell you is, now the question comes, how can you prepare for this activity, like the latest cue card list, which is quite important for these months. Like yes, it is true, like the PDF booklets that are available in the market, mostly topics are asked from that booklet. So what you can do, you can make a speaking notebook for your IELTS preparations, and what you can do is all the important topics, you can write the statement of the topic on the front of the paper, and then you can give some time to yourself, like what kind of story I can create on this cue card. Like let me take some examples. Suppose the cue card is speak about a person who is professional, or speak about a person whose job is important for the society. So what you can do in this particular cue card is, you can make a story like once upon a time in my school, like when I was in my 12th standard, when I was in my senior secondary. So once upon a time, a guest speaker was invited by our school management, and he was from military, or he was from army, or he was from navy, or he was from banking services, or he was from sports background, he was from media or journalism background, and he just shared his thoughts or shared his life experiences, his personal professional stories with the students in the auditorium, and he gave a talk and he shared such things, and I find like that person is really professional, or his job is really important. So just understand what my point is. When you create a story, it involves many of the things, and it is very interesting experience also, because English is very interesting language. If you think English is a boring language, there is some problem in your thinking, there is some error in your thinking, or probably you did not discover the real method of learning English language. So one of my endeavor through these live classes or these regular YouTube classes is going to change your mentality from a boring experience of doing IELTS to an interesting and joyful and fulfilling experience of doing IELTS. And if I am able to do that thing for you, then obviously it is going to be a very fulfilling experience, because just because of IELTS industry and IELTS profession, I have received a lot of satisfaction, a lot of financial gains. So now I am in a position that where I can do something good for society without any kind of selfish motive, or with the selflessness perspective. So I'm quite clear and quite keen to help you. So the intent of making this video is telling you, like, for all your cue cards, you can create stories. And the beautiful thing is, most of the stories, they grow in the same manner, they proceed in the same manner. So you can change your stories by just changing the characters, the incidents, the locations, the timings, and some of the dialogues. And one more suggestion that I want to impart to you is try to include your real life examples, real life stories, and that is going to be very fulfilling as well. And this act of storytelling is going to develop you. Like, let me share a wonderful story about my own life. Like I have so many stories. If somebody asks about my introduction, even I have a story for that as well. Like let me give you the example of that. This is Deepak Kumar, and I am an international author of 6 books, and a public speaker and IELTS trainer, and being born in a middle class family where my parents were not educated at all, and I got the extreme privilege of going into a school which was not of high standards, and I completed my initial schooling, or schooling up to 5th standard there. And then somehow my father got the awareness like I should send my son to a reputed school or a CBSE board school. And then I got the admission there for next 7 to 8 years. I went there and I did my 12th from the same school where I got admission in 6th standard. Through non-medical stream I did my education, and then I got opportunity to enter into a reputed engineering college of my state, which was a government college, and I did my mechanical engineering from there in 2008. And then I went for a job that my engineering studies gave to me, and after a year I found like I am getting bored and I should change it. And then I started the teaching work, and then I find my calling into this profession. I became interested, optimistic, and very passionate about teaching, about educating others, empowering others. So this is whatever I'm telling to you, it's not crammed, it is not learned, it is naturally happened to me. I have done all these things, I have experienced all those things, so these things have become very natural to me. So what I am telling to you is create stories, create small stories, and just practice, 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 so that you become the master of storytelling. And if you go on YouTube and if you just check out the importance of storytelling, and if you have the skill of storytelling in your personality, then you can earn big money, you can earn big reputation, and you can convey your message to the larger audiences. So art of storytelling is going to make you a leader, is going to make you a high earner into your profession as well. And through these live classes and regular classes, I want to give you something of value. My intent is not only to make you able to score sixpence, my intent is to make you able to be a leader throughout your lifetime, to give you something of long-term use. So this is enough for this class. So I sincerely request you all put some comments, and whatever you want to ask from me or whatever you want me to cover in these classes, you are free and you're most welcome, so that I can do my homework. I can prepare some things if you need me to cover those things. And just by doing all these things, we can make these sessions very fruitful, and just make a determination of being a productive, a clear, and a natural kind of speaker who is able to use his real and natural life stories into his talks. Thank you so much for being with me, and I hope you are doing well in your IELTS preparations. Thank you. Bye bye.